week, and the question was, you were playing soccer and you break a ball, pop it, whatever the case may be. It could be basketball, it doesn't really matter. And lo and behold, the ball that you're playing with, we were playing with, I don't remember the guy's name, Steve, let's say. George. You're playing with George, and turned out it wasn't George basketball. George and Fab, soccer ball. George actually, shall we say, borrowed it without permission from Steve. So Steve is quite distraught at his destroyed soccer ball. And the question now is, who owes who a soccer ball? Or maybe no one owes anybody a soccer ball. So taking something without permission is called shoal shalomidas, that you're borrowing without permission. That's, shall we say, not encouraged. That's an appropriate thing to do. A borrower, if you have permission, if you borrow someone's soccer ball and while you're playing soccer it breaks, you would not have to pay the person back, because that's a concept called basically mesa machmas malacha. You borrowed a soccer ball. The person who owned the soccer ball realizes they're taking a chance by lending it out. Soccer balls do break. Basketballs do break, right? It happens. So if you lend out the item to somebody and they're using it in a normal, not using it, let's say, I don't know, whatever, kick a basketball in order to break down a fence, right? But you're playing it through the regular, normal usage, that way you would not have to owe the person. But here's an example where you took something without permission. And if you take something without permission, even though it broke during normal usage, you'd not be covered by that exemption because you never had permission from the person. They would have said, no, you can't take my item. I don't want you to use my item because it might break even under normal usage, and I'm not willing to lend it out. The question is, who owes who? The item. So if the person who broke the ball knew that it belonged to someone without permission, obviously you'd have to pay that person directly. But you had no idea. You had no idea that you have to assume that it belonged to somebody else. You're playing with your friend soccer. You assume your friend wants to play sports with you, that it's his item, that he has jurisdiction, ownership over that item. There's no reason to assume otherwise. So you, under good faith, are playing a sport, and therefore, if it breaks, again, not any fault of your own, you could say, I'm using this ball as a regular borrower or a player, in which case I would be able to do what I can. However, the person who took the ball, which was George then would have to owe Steve a basketball. Could Steve come to you and say, pay up? Probably not, because you could argue and say, what do you want from me? I have nothing to do with this. I'm an innocent soccer player in this mix. Don't come to me with a claim. I'm not the person who did anything wrong. Go to George, who took the ball without permission. He owes you the basketball. I'm just an innocent bystander in this very, very serious, dramatic ordeal. So I think that's the way to understand the case. I have no idea what people said. I will look at them later. Have a WhatsApp Wednesday.